How many times has this happened to you? You load up Sea of Thieves and awaken from a grog-induced stupor at an outpost's tavern. After going AFK to make sure everything is ready for your next adventure, you return to find someone sinking your freshly spawned ship. A disheartening way to begin your voyage, to say the least. And I wasn't going to stand for it, okay? In today's Tales of Getting Booty. Panicking as I tried to figure out how to deal with this hostile situation hoisted toward me, I raised my anchor, attempting to initiate naval combat with this scoundrel. As I lowered my sails, my ship began to creak. Clearly its time was already up, as the middeck began to fill with water. And so I decided to jump ship in an attempt to enact my revenge against this callous individual. Unfortunately, they were a competent pirate, likely more so than myself. As I climbed their ladder, while revenge clouded my judgment, they were well prepared, one blundering me and sending me to the ferry, a mistake I wasn't going to make a second time. With a sunken ship and a dead pirate, this was not enough to stop me, and so I hurried back to Plunder Outpost, scouring the island for any sign of a ship, but none were visible. I searched and I searched, inching closer and closer to Reaper's hideout, where I noticed the distinct shape of a one-sailed vessel. With hope in my heart and revenge overshadowing it, I made my way toward the Servant of the Flames hideaway. And luck was with me, it was the sloop that had sunk my ship, their boat unattended facing the hideout. Launching toward their ship with not a plan nor strategy, I lowered their anchor and awaited the Ashen Pirate's return. Although I had made quick work of this cursed crewman, I knew I didn't have long before his inevitable return to defend his ship. Feeling flustered and pressured to act quickly, all the while his time on the ferry trickling down the Reaper's hourglass. After killing this pirate a second time, I raised his anchor, with a plan as brilliant as it was foolish. I was going to crash his vessel into the island, in an effort to make a hole in his ship. And well, let's just say it was anticlimactic. With not a leak to be found, I dropped his anchor a second time, awaiting his return so that we may duel once more. He fought me with equal tenacity, but I had once again bested him. I rushed toward the island, pockets laden with cannonballs, up the ladder toward one of the Reaper's very own cannons, with the intent to destroy his ship's mast, so that it may buy me enough time to maneuver my own ship's broadside into position. With his mast down and ship wedged ashore, I waited with bated breath for his final return. All I needed to do was send this man to the ferry one last time. His blunderbuss knocked me off the ship, but this time, I was prepared. I wasn't going to let his ladder guarding trick best me a second time. By climbing the ladder, letting go and grabbing a hold once more, I baited out a shot from his blunderbuss. Unfortunately, he had reloaded faster than anticipated, and as I waited to return to the world of the living, the seconds passing by at an excruciating pace, he would have ample time to repair his ship and form a counterattack. I immediately turned to the cannons, firing shot after shot at his sloop, pelting out damage, holes and explosions, the same he had done to me at Plunder Outpost. His ship, grinding to a halt in front of me, granted me enough time to restock my pockets and reposition my ship. But as I did so, I heard the splashing of a pirate frolicking in the water. The pirate lobbed firebombs at me, so as to distract me from my continued onslaught directed at his vessel. But it would take more than that to stop me. I ran straight back to the cannons, and unleashed volleys of cannon fire at point-blank range, leaving his ship in an unfixable state. He lunged into the water, abandoning his ship, in an attempt to fight me one last time. With the pirate aboard the ferry yet again, I began to angle my ship's broadside toward his boat, to finish what he had started and claim revenge for my own. And as I doused the small flames that licked the nape of my neck, I heard the very distinct sound of a ship scuttling. I had won, and revenge was mine. The spoils of war? This Grade 1 Reaper flag, a symbol of my victory and the efforts it took to sink a pirate who caught me off guard. And yet, emptiness filled me. It was not enough. As I left Reaper's hideout, I had one motivation. I would find this pirate and sink him yet again, so that he would never sink a new spawn as long as Toxie Sinclair roamed the Sea of Thieves. Reaching Cannon Cove, I was met with the sloop for a third time, and as I engaged in naval combat, loading my cannons and expecting his ship to make a hard left turn, I was shocked. He had outplayed me completely, as I rammed the broadside of his ship with my bowsprit, while a chain shot barely missed my mast. Luck was with me, and so I returned fire while his ship turned its back against me. Clearly, this pirate had no intention of continuing this fight, a position I was not going to stand for. And clearly, the seas did not approve of such behavior, as the dreaded Kraken attacked his ship, grinding it to a full stop. I circled the murky water, so as not to be dragged into battle with the Kraken, watching the sloop struggle as it fended off the many tentacles that surrounded it. And as I stopped, in preparation to fire over and board his vessel, he had somehow managed to injure the Kraken, forcing it back down into the depths of the ocean. I fired volley after volley of cannonballs toward his ship, but he was too far away from my cannon fire to connect, my long-range aim missing the mark. But the message it sent was loud and clear, as the Ashen Pirate continued to run from my sloop, slowly but surely heading to the edge of the map where the Red Sea await those afraid to put up a fight. Past the Coral Fortress and further still he ran, his boat continuing to sail toward the dreaded Red Sea. With my attention concentrated on the ship sailing toward the Shroud, I failed to notice the sound of the Ashen Pirate boarding my sloop. He had knocked me off my ship with his blunderbuss and anchored me, leaving his ship to sail toward its watery grave. And as he guarded my ladder with deadly precision, I knew I needed to change my tactics, and so I took aim with my eye of reach and fired at him with the same deadly precision he had at me. One shot was enough to send the Ashen Pirate into a frenzy, as he lobbed firebombs around my ship in a desperate attempt to sink it. And with one last tenacious duel, the Ashen Pirate was down, now in possession of another ticket to board the Ferry of the Damned. His ship, nowhere to be seen. The horizon as empty as the flame-heart-sized hole missing from the sky, and my heart. He was gone. The world was changing. Between boundless skies and treacherous seas, revenge was mine, free, and for me. Thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to leave a like if you enjoyed this video, and hit the subscribe button while you're at it. Wouldn't want to miss a new upload now, would ya? Oh, and hit the bell to stay notified for the next Tales of Getting Booty. Until next time.